the stream so far. You should see it come up on the other side. I think I'm accidentally streaming to YouTube at the same time, but we'll figure that out. Oops. Let's see. Yeah. I'm gonna ping my stream manager real fast. One second. What's up, Derek? I'm trying to go. You're going live.
Okay, cool. I was making sure it's still not schedule online this time.
Oh no, we're good. Yeah, it should be up now. So.
Okay.
All right. Peace. Yeah, that was one of my best friends that comes to the show every week. Like, we hit 10. Yeah, we hit 10 people last week, so that was cool. All right. Cool. All right, we're going in now. I guess everyone can hear me too. For some reason, it's going through. I gotta play with this setting more. So, switching over to live. Cool. All right. All right, and live scene frame, boom. All right, this should flip over here. Let's turn the audios on. What up, everybody? Figuring I got a whole new thing today, and got my buddy Tom here with me, and I'm just trying to get this to work out the details. You know, it wouldn't be my stream if I didn't have at least one serious to major technical difficulty at the beginning of each stream. Good times, though. Cool. I should be able to see everyone's chat pretty fast now, which is kind of cool. Because I have that pulled in, so I got all the new things going. So I'm really excited about this. Should be less of a delay. But without any further ado, so tonight we're kicking off what I like to call, or what I'm calling right now, the For the Love of Creativity. So we're gonna do this twice a month. So every other week. I'm gonna invite on my friends, people in the creative space, people I just want to talk to and that I get introduced to, just to talk more about creativity, how that affects their life, what inspires them, and all the while I'm gonna take one AI tool in particular. This time we're gonna use MidJourney, and we're gonna kind of like come up with prompts together and like make new pieces of art, and then kind of layer them into something here. And see what we can come up with while we're just shooting the shit and utilizing this new technology and talking about creativity. And what better way to do that than to make some custom art while we're doing it. So,
Carl, I am so excited to see what happens tonight. I have no idea what I'm in for, and I just want to go along for the ride that you set out for us.
Yeah, dude. No one has any idea what they're in for. Me either. We're succumbing to the AI hive mind.
I know. I'm a little nervous about giving it all over to the robots, but you know what? So be it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, so Tom, thanks for coming out, man. This is, if you guys don't know Tom or you didn't see any of our posts advertising the show tonight, this is Tom Briggs. He owns Epigraph. We've known each other for a little over a year now, I think. We've been kind of worked on a couple projects together, did some mastermindy call things, and just like lots of fun stuff. But we met on Lunch Club, and we just clicked immediately, and we just kind of stayed in touch ever since. So.
Yeah, I think we inhabit like similar creative spaces, and I know we get a lot of good vibes from each other. So yeah, you're deep down this AI art rabbit hole. So I'm excited to just like go along for the journey and see where your head has been, because I know you've told me a little bit about it, but this is new to me. So I'm stoked.
Yeah, awesome, man. Well, I'm stoked too. So let's so I sent you this little questionnaire thing, right? I wanted to kind of make this a part of this show. Let's see, I got this fucking pulled up somewhere. I'm quasi prepared. No worries, right? Let's see. I don't want to cover up the stream section. Here we go. All right, so just covered your face with the thing. There we go. Let's see here. So some of the questions, we threw together, we're just kind of trying to pull out some of like what gets Tom's creative juices going, and how does that, work in Tom's life. So when I see everyone saying hi, hey Derek, hey Andy, hey Ivy, thanks for dropping by, everybody. And Ivy dropped all your socials in the chat, so you guys check out Tom there. But so first thing I always ask everybody, I think is a good space to start with is, what compelled you to say yes to coming on my show? So Tom, I can just read these, or we can you can like reiterate them. We can go over them. How do you want to do that?
No, I kind of wrote a little bit, but no, I can jump into it. I mean, Carl, so you and I mean, yeah, like you said, we've known each other for a year, and you just have this really beautiful approach to creativity and art. And from our first conversation, I know we had like some kindred spirit stuff going on, even though you're way over on that side of the US. I'm over on the upper left coast. And yeah, it's just I get a lot of juice being around innovative, creative people who are sort of looking at these new tools that are coming into the sphere. And I love using new tools and interacting with people who are reaching out and using them as well. So honestly, it's selfish, really. Like I want to steal some ideas
Dude,
from you and hear what you're up to, man.
I love it. Well, thanks for the kind words. You made that post today, sharing that you were coming on the show, and you used this word, enigmatic was the word. What was it?
What did I say? Basically inimitable.
Inimitable, yeah.
You are a unique personality, my friend. I've roved not too far. I mean, in the creative world, I've chatted with a few people, but they broke the mold when they made you my friend.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I take great pride in my eccentricities.
That's good, man. You gotta own that.
I love it, man. It's just me being me. And I got it from my dad, bro. Yeah, you didn't have the pleasure of meeting him, but he was like, if I'm a 10, I mean, I'm like a 7.5 if on a 10 scale of just out there-ness. And, I just always joke around. And that's what this whole show really evolved around, was like, honoring my father's creative legacy and who he was. But I mean, he really was just on the functional side of crazy, which is just a great place to dance, I suppose.
So good, man. I love, you've told me that story, and I love that you honor him. And it's funny how the people who go before us sort of set the tempo. And my mom, she wasn't like a typical creative, but I remember she got super into calligraphy. And just exploring some of like the really interesting letter forms and different. So, and that was kind of her. She was a very orderly person, but like that was the one space where she kind of time boxed her creativity and just let it go free. She found so much joy in it. So I feel you on what that means and carrying that legacy on, man. So yeah, more power.
I love that. Ivy just told me you are coming through a little quiet, so I'm gonna see if I can.
All right.
I don't know if you sound good to me, but I'm trying to figure out if I can turn that up somehow.
I can lean in. I can make sure my gain. Make sure my gain is up here.
Yeah, a little gain would be good. Let's try that.
I'm cranked up.
Okay. We'll make that work.
I'll lean in.
No worries. Appreciate you, Tom. Okay, so what was the next thing on the list here we have? So what type of music do you find gets you in a creative zone? I think this is always a great question, because I know if I'm sitting down to do something, I gotta have the right type of music for the right vibe that I'm trying to create, So I know you're a writer. That's one of your key creative expressions, but yeah.
Music is such a good, I love that question, because it's such a good tool in terms of, creativity is all about finding a headspace. So to have those tunes that get you there, or get you vibing on what you need to be creating, whether that's something like if you're going for some pensive, esoteric, or mostly I use music as a blunt instrument of just kicking myself in the butt to get out and just make stuff. So I tend toward, I'm usually pretty mellow, so I need oftentimes something to amp me up. So I probably go toward more up tempo. I mean, I feel like, child of the 80s and 90s, like late 90s, like power, like pop punk is kind of like my
Nice.
go-to jam if I ever need to bring some energy in, or I'm working on something that, like, when you're slamming out copy, like sometimes it's not the most exciting thing. So to have that, but randomly enough, my tastes are all over the map, but I've been doubling down on like classic Broadway show tunes and musicals. Like there are some legit playlists on Spotify, like some of the stuff, like I was never, like I had friends who were more into theater, but had always kind of like set it aside. But coming back to it, I'm like, man, there's some good stuff here, like just good writing, good musicality. I'm a drummer, so not a musician, haha, but appreciate music and what music can do. So yeah, but I appreciate like more of the ambient jams. Like I need to find more tunes like this where it's just kind of in the background as opposed to like being right in your face and like spurring you on.
For sure. Yeah, I'm so ADD myself that I find a need to really like find something that's very ambient, very mellow. It can be like sometimes I'll put on like epic like background noise that has like real high instrumentals. It kind of takes you on a journey even with no words. But again, it just depends on what I'm trying to get into. But I don't, unless I'm trying to like dance around the house and clean and be a crazy person, like I usually do no vocals. So yeah, I love this kind of ambient vibe. So
I went through this phase where in a 2-monitor setup, I used, when I was a little ADD, I did like basic, like something super basic and visual over on my secondary screen with just, I think I chose like classic, like C-SPAN or something like that. Like super duper boring, just to have like that hum of, I don't know what it did I don't even know if I ever fully understood what it did for me, but it was just like something super boring, just kind of like occupying that kind of low hum. I don't know, it's almost like white noise in a way, but like visual white noise, if that makes sense. Yeah, anyway, I mean, to each their own. There's
100%
paths to creativity, and if it gets you, whatever gets you where you need to be and gets you in the zone, double down on that. I started drinking a lot more coffee during COVID. Like,
oh yeah.
during the lockdown, like I was very much anti-caffeine for a while because it just jacked with my sleep, and for me, like my sleep is super sacrosanct, and I'm a natural early riser. I know like some people are all over the map, especially a lot of creatives like go late in the evening and sleep in, but man, my sweet spot is like before people get up, and especially being on the West Coast, kind of getting up and like connecting with people on the East Coast, or like jamming through stuff when it's like nice and quiet, no one's up. Yeah, so I'm super fun at night because I'm usually in bed really, really early. Like if this live stream was on your time, like over there, I'm going to be asleep by the time is here on the Pacific Coast than it is there on the Atlantic.
Totally get that. Yeah, I actually am a very early. It's weird. Like I like both. I like being up early and kind of jamming some things and getting some stuff done. But I also find like I get really creative when my brain's like on overdrive and I'm sort of tired, but I'm wired into the machine kind of vibe. I've done some really cool stuff at like 1 a.m. on this stream a few times. So yeah. Anyhow.
I love that, just knowing your own rhythms. I mean, there's something to be said for that, and sort of knowing when to break the rules. Like, okay, this is my sweet spot, but I have this weird peak at, 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. where like something lights up.
Yeah. That's a cool space to be in. All right, so the next question we had here: what type of things really inspire you? And I'm going to use this particular one to try to come up with some prompts for the old AI. Actually, you know what? We're gonna get excitable now. I'm gonna bring it in. So this one, just to interject a little. So this one is, let's see. My brain just went everywhere. I have 4 monitors, so I get really distracted.
What All right. Need when you're easily distractible.
Yo, it's stupid. Check this out. All right, so we got this monitor, we got these 3, right? And then, this is actually a Wacom, so I can like draw on it, but it's, my wife's like, I don't know if that's helping your ADD. I'm like, probably not, but it looks cool.
Why not?
Cool.
So funny. I love it.
All right, so the things that inspire you.
Love this question. So it's funny. History, honestly, like going back and, it's so my consultancy is called Epigraph and being a writer. So an epigraph is, if you're ever reading a book, it's that quote at the beginning of the book that, takes that, it kind of sets the stage. It's usually from a famous person or a book that, kind of leads into that which is to come. I mean, you oftentimes find it more in nonfiction, but just that idea of, history is fascinating because even though the music changes, the dance steps remain the same. So I consult and work in a lot of innovation spaces. So the sense that things just kind of keep coming around and they're cyclical, and that which has been, it'll go through more iterations, but just kind of that wheel of time of, humans are fundamentally humans, regardless, across the millennia. Like, the stuff we're dealing with is the same stuff our great ancestors dealt with. Granted, different form, different tone, different words, but it's still the same. So I know that's very abstract and probably doesn't give you anything to jump off of, but just, the history, man, is wild, and looking back at what's come before.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah,
I love that, man. And I didn't appreciate history when I was a younger man as much as I do now. That, like, for the same sort of reasons, like looking back and seeing, like you said, like, we're so cyclical, and there's not really any, like, human beings are gonna do the same shit over and over again. It's like we're almost doomed to that. It's like I always joke that, like, we can't have nice things because we just fuck everything up. Like, it's like, if we can use this one super powerful, amazing thing for good, we'll definitely use it for bad. Like, like, it's like,
no way, we won't, because, yes, we're terrible.
And it's, it's all of that, right? Like, it's good and bad, but it's a funny thing. So
Totally.
I love this bit you put in here about being stoic, right? Like, because I didn't even know what stoicism was. Sorry, in your reply to me, you mentioned basically, like, the world just got real crazy in COVID between the riots and the lockdowns and all the stuff with the pandemic, and just, like, seeing, like, people running around like their hair's on fire, and just, like, realizing that, like, stoicism is just, like, weathering all the storms and just kind of, like, not being shaken by all this, but not feeling anything, just, like, not freaking the fuck out, like, so.
Yeah, it's so weird. Stoicism gets this bad rap where, like, historically you think of just, I'm going to be this unfeeling, like, stone-faced, nothing can touch me. But it was really, I came to Stoicism through Ryan Holiday because he's done some great stuff around it. And the concept is so powerful because you think about, like, what makes you what do we need in this day and age? Like, if you can just be a calm, non-anxious presence when the tendency is to just run around hair on fire, like, that is a legitimate superpower. Like, if you can tap into that and say, okay, yes, like, 2020, like, it was really, really, really awful. But if you look back over the arc of human history, there have been pandemics before,
Yeah.
And in the grand scheme of things, like, yes, it was awful. Like, we lost people, I lost people, but, like, you compare that to, like, the Spanish flu and some of these other pandemics of the 20th century, it's like, okay, man, I mean, we lost many, many more people. So you kind of zoom out and almost take that, like, long view of history. It helps to sort of process some of those sections where it's like, okay, it's 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. Like, 2020 very much felt like, okay, we're recidivism, we're stepping back in a lot of ways. But as you zoom out, you're like, okay, like, we are getting better at being with each other. And I think, I'm a net believer in humanity. I think over time, over a long enough time horizon, it is up and to the right. It just, you just kind of have to have that bigger perspective. So I don't know. So stoicism, history, recognizing that, fundamentally there's nothing new under the sun. I don't know. I get a lot of just stability out of that. It keeps me personally grounded in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I love that. I was reading your response earlier, and I was thinking, so like I went to Busch Gardens this weekend with my son, and actually Derek and Andy, who are in the chat, like absolutely amazing, super fans. But the like we had just left them. We're just like walking back. I don't know if Busch Gardens is like a big theme park with roller coasters and shit.
Yeah.
So we were walking, and all of a sudden there was just like, get to shelter, and like announcement across the whole park, and it was like a microburst storm. I'm talking like there was tornadoes around us, shit's flying everywhere, and so I throw my little guy on my back, and I'm giving him a piggyback ride. It's just me and him, and like I see one guy walking, and he's just freaked the fuck out. He's like, oh my god! He's on this bridge, and there's shit flying everywhere and branches, and like he just like stood there for a second, like spun around in circles, losing his shit. Like, bro, that didn't help anybody. To be fair, like a branch came down, like a good-sized branch, and smashed into his stroller. But like it had like a canopy on it that protected his kids, so his kids didn't get hit. But he looked at me with this like sheer look of terror on his face, and like me and my kid are laughing, like this is epic. Like so we're running through the rain, and it was so much fun. But yeah, it's funny. Like we were having totally different experiences just on a mindset. You know what I mean? And I was like feeling excited and fun, like like thought it was crazy. But anyways. So you were talking about that, so I said like, hey, let's do. So I dropped in photorealistic man panicked running around with his hair on fire, and then some other little 32K AR. So the MidJourney bot works with basically an imagine prompt. You hit that and then type in whatever you want, right? So this is none of these were very good. I don't like any of them. So you can hit this and kind of re-roll the dice, or I could pick one of these. So this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I could upscale and get more detail. So like, let's see what like number 2 would look like with more detail, and then we could do variations of number 1, and then we'll re-roll the dice, right? So it's doing 3 more renders now. We'll see what it comes up with. Okay. Oh, sorry, Derek. I'm just seeing your comment. Yeah. So I was thinking, okay, let's roll with that. So I'm just having some fun with this one right here, and we'll let these render, and then we'll keep talking. So, what is the most personally moving creative experience you have ever had?
Oh, man, personally moving creative experience. Man, that's a good one. I don't know. I get a lot of inspiration from nature. I feel like I was looking it up in preparation for this. I feel like there is a Japanese word for those moments of Zen where you like it's some simple word, but essentially the concept is like where you just achieve that weird total oneness with nature and the universe, and you just feel that like inherent sense of connection. That where it's just you can't seek it out. You can't go meditate under a waterfall and achieve it. It just sort of visits you. I've had that happen at a few points in my life where one time was when I was just like swimming in a river, and it just like I just like stepped back, and the sky was really nice and perfect, and it just like the totality of existence kind of lands on you at one very focused point, and there's just this sense of calm that taps into it, and you just feel this peace and this oneness and this kind of like connection to the bigger experience and the bigger totality. Yeah, that's probably where I would. Yeah, I've had a few of those, and it's always just very enlivening.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, I totally resonate with that, man. I've had so many experiences like out in nature that we go camping and adventuring all the time. And it's like my favorite thing to do, right? Because I feel like I spend my whole life like plugged in these fucking screens, and I love them, but it's also just like it gets to be a lot, and it doesn't feel like my authentic living sometimes. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's like the Matrix or something. But yeah, I remember like one moment of this was kind of like a father moment too. Like my kid was 2, and we put him in our canoe. And it was a little cold out. I think it was fall. And we were canoeing into this place called the Great Dismal Swamp. So it's like a couple 100,000 acres. It used to be like a million. Oh, yeah, the Great Dismal Swamp. It was actually part of the Underground Railroad where they used to smuggle escaped slaves through here to lose the track of the dogs and stuff because there was all these water pockets and stuff. And it's like really like it's got like lots of haunted vibes, whatever. We slept out there dozens and dozens of nights. It's one of my favorite places in the world so far, and it's right in my backyard. In terms like it's like a 20-30 minute drive right here in Virginia. But so I had my kid in the front of the canoe, and he didn't really talk much. He was speech delayed, so he's like 2 years old, very physically capable. Guy's climbing trees and running around like a madman, but he's got like 10 words. You know what I mean? So, and he's about to turn 11. So, but we had him at the front of the canoe, and we're in this big, thick, dense forest, paddling up these channels that were dug out by George Washington. Well, they were dug out by slaves, under George Washington's whatever you want to call it, domination, I guess. But they were logging the Dismal Swamp at the time. That's the only kind of human interaction that's ever really been there. But long story short, we're paddling for like 2 hours, and we finally get to the lake that's in the middle, right? So there's no buildings, no houses, no nothing. We finally get to this lake, and my kid's leaning over the front of the canoe, and we break through the edge where it's like opens up to the lake, and my kid who's 2, who doesn't really talk, does this. Like, it just takes in the whole pan of this enormous, ridiculously massive lake, and it blew his mind, and it was like, holy shit. I don't know what I just did to my kid, but I'm sure that's like a core memory somewhere in his brain that's like forever going to influence him. But that same kind of zen moment for him, I think, really. We've had a lot of those, but that's the one that really sticks out in my head at this moment. So, anyhow.
I love that. I love that. That's so good, man.
Yeah, and I get a bit of that just, farming in my backyard too. Just like finding little bugs and creatures and watching a plant grow. They're like, oh, I'm excited about this new plant, and I'll plant it and I'll watch it. And like, even if you're supposed to harvest it as a root, like I'll let it grow all the way in seed because I want to see the plant from like the cotyledon stage all the way through full maturity to like develop seeds to like so I understand the life cycle so that I can grow these plants on the regular. Like I do that with like carrots and tomatoes and everything. Like it's a lot of shit, but it's fun. So same kind of vibe.
It's such a gift being a dad too, and being able to see guys. My boys are 6 and 8, soon to be 7 and 9, and it's just you get to relive all of that stuff over again. You get an excuse for playing with Legos again and getting into Pokemon again, and it's such a good practice to step back. And yes, it is like simultaneously the hardest thing, but I look at the number of lessons I've taken from them and just walking the journey with them and just trying to empathize with having that smaller frame of reference is just so good.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, life is so much about perspective. Like my favorite quote is definitely life is 90% is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react. Super good stuff. So personally moving, cool. What's the next one I have? Who are some of your favorite artists? Any types, whatever, any mediums. Most importantly, why? You really leaned heavily into architecture, and you listed a couple people I wasn't even aware of at all. Michael Heiser, Gary.
Oh man. Gary built this. The first Gary building I ever saw was the Experience Music. Well, back in the day, they called it the Experience Music Project in Seattle. I think now it's like the Museum of Pop Culture. Imagine like an iridescent blanket just like draped over. Like that's kind of his style.
Holy shit.
Weird, formless jellyfish style. I don't know if you can bring up.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just this crazy mind-blowing.
What the fuck?
Building, but it is. Yeah, it's.
No, it does. It looks like some bullshit renders from a computer. This is a real building?
It is a real building. Like
what the
fuck?
Got
this reflection to it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, like the visual is amazing, but like the engineering and like how you, build something like that.
It looks like they look like satin sheets over buildings.
Yeah. I mean, there's the like visualizing the thing, but that's what I love about architects. Like, you can come up with this crazy idea, but then to realize it and then also like give people a space to like step into is just so like you're creating a mood, you're creating an experience, you're creating something that people can inhabit. That is just so that's a weird form of wizard-like power.
Yeah.
So in awe.
Yeah, it's very much like an interactive art experience, right? Like you're actually controlling the entire environment, which I love that. Like even here, like in my little space I made here, like I love just control, like just what you can do with lighting and like throwing random paintings on the ceiling. Like I don't know who does that. Like I don't know, but like I'm having the superpower of like bringing something like that to fruition. Like I mean, this thing is wild looking, dude. Like I had no idea.
It's the closest thing you can get to of like stepping inside someone's mind, I think. I mean, to little like that came out of, you talk about creativity. I mean, that came out of someone's brain, and then you know they convinced people to help them make it real. Just there's just so much goodness in that.
So the next step on that is absolutely going to be this like VR, the metaverse, right? Like imagine like, so the next level of that is you can put on VR goggles and really get into somebody's like deep dive insanity. I mean, think about like the deep level in that, what was that fucking movie, Inception, right? Like the third dream layer where they're like they've made the whole world. It's like holy shit, like that's gonna be a thing, right? Like you can leave your kid a metaverse that you created and like have an infinite number of stories and cool shit for them to find as like after you're dead. Like, you know, like how like the whole thing there is like mind blowing to even think about. So
yeah, there's that book. Is it Ready Player One? Where you know, real life becomes so awful that everyone retreats into, I think they call it the Oasis.
It is.
And it's just this hyper realistic VR space where you can do whatever you want, be whatever you want, and everyone just kind of abandons real life and goes and lives there. I don't know. We can debate endlessly over whether giving up on meat space and just going into full, you know, VR digital space is good or not good, but it's definitely mind expanding. I mean, you can't deny that.
Yeah, the problem just becomes, you know, when they sell all the advertising space that's all around your peripheral vision just to the scientific level where you don't fucking go nuts. Like, you know, that again, we can't have nice things. A lot of this has to do with like
ruin everything. Yes.
I love, it's a love-hate thing. I love humans. I fucking hate our society, especially like first world societies. They're just so bad. Like part of my bucket list shit is like, babe, let's go like live in a fucking like primitive village for like one season or a whole. If I can pull off a whole year, that would be sick. But like, I don't know, man. That's just something I think about all the time.
It's never been more possible. You know, I was chatting with a guy last week who he was living down in Guatemala and he was, you know, remote working. He had an amazing, we were chatting on Lunch Club or Zoom. His broadband was perfect. He was like, yeah, you know, he's like, there's a great community down here. I found this nice farming community. He was super into mountain biking. So he found a really tight mountain biking community, went out for rides every day. So yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of like what we've realized in this last 18 to 24 months. I mean, you want to go work from wherever, you know, take your MacBook and just go.
Right?
It's never been more achievable.
So that's something I'm thinking about a lot too. So like I bought these like solar battery backups and these lights, and we go adventuring all the time. So like I think sometime like when my boy's big enough, I think like the next couple of years, like hit the Appalachian Trail for like a month. You know what I mean? And just like bring my Wacom computer and all my shit so I can work from the road, but like charge everything and just keep rolling. It could be super fun. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Dude, check out these renders this thing made. So I popped in with Genry Experience Music Project in Seattle, surreal fantasy floating in a nebula, right? So it came up with these. So we can upscale some of these and get more details, or we can do variations. Are there any of them that you like?
I like that input. I'm feeling that one in the lower right. It's sort of like
this guy.
Northern Lights meets
All right, dope.
Seattle meets I don't even know what that is.
Version 4. We're gonna upscale version 4, and we'll do some variations of version 4. We'll see what happens. What's Mopop? Zach just posted it. And Zach, thank you so much for the subscribe. Holy shit. And Derek sent one earlier today. 2-in-1 show. I know you guys both love me, so you're biased, but it means a lot to me anyway. So
yeah, the Museum of Popular Culture. I haven't been up there in a long time. I mean, It's rad. I mean, back, gosh, must have been like 15 years ago, but they had all the classic, like they had a room for every like era of music. I need to get back there and check it out because it's
Oh,
just,
dope.
yeah, I forget. It was one of the, who built it? I don't know. I gotta look this up.
So,
Oh
Wait.
yeah, Paul Allen. This is what Paul Allen put his money into. So your Microsoft dollars went to creating the Mopop.
nice.
He has more money than he knows what to do with. But
That's
at
the
least he created
guy
a
that
beautiful building.
is that the guy that replaced Gates at Microsoft?
He co-founded, so he
Oh,
was there.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's how he made his mint.
Yeah, I haven't fanboyed all the CEOs of all the major companies maybe as much as I should, but you know, it's knowledge is power, right? So there's no reason not to not know all
It's
the all the things.
like a Wikipedia search away, so don't fill your brain with it. You can find it if you need to.
I do lean on that a bit, so for sure. Dude, look at this. This is looking wild as fuck.
Ooh, let's go to a fun place.
Okay, let's upscale that to max. You like any of these variations? I don't know.
It's not one. Oh man.
So it's so interesting because you can just type it. I mean, I'll scroll up and show, like, I mean, I've done a bunch of shit in the past. Like, check out this earlier. I was just doing hyper detailed render of a naturalist woman meditating in a nebula, cosmic and it just made that. Like, holy shit.
That is what that looks like. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's like so many. I mean, there's limitations, obviously, right? Like, there's a great one up here where like the chick's just her arm just ends for no reason. Where is it at? Right here, like just nubs. Like, you know, that's cool or whatever. But like, you know, I'm not hating, but I mean, you know, so the detail and control's not there, but like. This is such a powerful tool because I love that, like, I could take this and drop it into some art and manipulate on top of it, right? And really do something like, I don't know if you guys, I'm going to pull it up. So last week I did this guy, and it was literally just a couple of renders that I did. I did a background render and then a different face render. I typed like wood glue, monster, whatever. Like a friend of mine hit me up and said, you know, he, like, one of his buddies in his spinning, what's it called? It's like a lathe, like they lathe wood, right? You familiar with this? He's like, well, one of them like always uses wood glue, like he's like crazy about gluing shit together, so they call him the glue monster. So he wanted to make a pun thing, but it's like, you know, it's a little funny joke for him. I was like, oh, I'm not gonna spend like 7 hours on like somebody's side joke, which, you know, is what it is. Like, if this was a commission for somebody, I wouldn't have done this at all. But this was just like me having fun. But like this concept, I was able to work out literally whole thing with the prompts 30 minutes, like like 30 minutes, and this is a custom, unique image that is nowhere else in the world. Like, that's really powerful shit. You know, and the other idea here is like this is the pinnacle of human creativity so far. Like, we have the internet, which is obviously human creativity. We have an AI bot, like computer-based learning, that is also our creativity manifested in code. Now we have this bot scrubbing the entire internet for all of our ideas based on algorithms and search indexes and shit that like Google more or less pioneered. And so, I mean, I guess pioneered, maybe not. They weren't the first. They've polished it to the highest level and or bought out all the people that were doing it better than them and merged it. They're like Disney for creativity, right? Like in terms of search algorithms. But anyways, like, so we have like all these things kind of coalescing, and like this is really cool shit. Like, I still, people are really afraid of it, and there's a lot of like pushback in the creative community. The same with NFTs, and like, it's like, for me, I feel like artists just don't like new shit sometimes. It like I can just hear like animators bitching about the Mac when it first came out, like, oh, I want to do this on paper and like with my little thing, and it's gonna take 45 hours to do what this guy can do in 10 minutes, you know? And it's like, yeah. This is how the shit goes. So like that's why I'm here, just like embracing this. Like, hey man, we got to do like, I've been like pumping in logos, and like I'm working on a politician's like sign, and like, so I wanted like a powerful black woman sign, right? Like, you know, so what does the collective consciousness of the internet think about that when I type that in, right? And so it comes up with these renders, and I start looking like, oh my god, these are amazing. Oh, check it out. Sometimes they're complete dumpster fires, though, right? Like Dwayne Johnson, full body bodybuilder pose. Like what the fuck, bro? Like, so like, at first I did The Rock. So it was combining a rock with The Rock. So like this isn't taking my job anytime in the next 3 to 5 years at least, but like at the same time it's just hilarious. But like look at this cool thing. Like I got commissioned to do some art for a dentist, and I was just like, or he's not a dentist, he actually does like custom teeth art and stuff. I started like just pumping stuff in there to kind of like see what it would generate. Like look at these this is objectively cool shit that like I actually own the intellectual property to now because I summoned it from the ether with these words. Like I have a commercial copyright license only until it fails to be tested in court, but that's still
we'll let the lawyers sort that one out.
Yeah, it's still out there, but like so I mean, and look, it's just like teeth art, colorful Vincent van Gogh, boom, like holy shit. And if I re-rolled that, like it would just create a whole bunch of other stuff. I was working on like some new logo concepts for Clienta Studios. Just like, hey, what does it come up with? So I just thought this stuff was pretty neat. So yeah.
Noah Yuval Harari, he has this book, Homo Deus, where he talks about what does humanity become when as AI gets better, and obviously there's the Terminator 2 route where whatever the global consciousness becomes aware, and it decides that humans are problematic and annihilates us. It's like whether AI ever becomes fully consciousness, I mean, who knows? But he's like the incremental steps will be, he calls it Centaur, just like a really strong human AI hybrid is what's here in the near future. So it's just AI being like this, like a really amazing personal assistant. Like imagine a super duper Siri that can just serve up stuff and allow you to be a better creative, a better creator, by just kind of standing on the shoulders and letting the AI churn and do sort of the rough concepting work, and then you're almost the refining piece. You're the uniquely human piece the AI can't do, and maybe can never do. There's much. This is where you get into weird, like esoteric philosophical debates of like what makes humans human. Like, will AI ever achieve that level? What is consciousness? What is generalized artificial intelligence? Super gnarly stuff. But yeah, I mean, super smart AI assistants are like really that's gonna happen. It's happening.
It's here.
Happen as you're showing.
Yeah, it is totally here. And so my creative director, Zach, this absolutely looks like some of the Burning Man art, I'm sure. Zach's a huge festival guy. Zach's really.
I want to get there sometime.
Yeah, I've never been.
Insane.
Zach's been to like a crazy amount of Fish concerts. I'm sure he's got a number. You're welcome to drop that in the chat if you want, Zach. We'll have Zach on sometime too if you're up for it, Zach. Zach's fucking a super impressive human being. I've known him since like 9th grade, I think. But like him and I grew up playing games together, and he's a Silicon Valley like tech guy, done all the crazy shit. But anyways, this stuff's wild. So I heard that just sparked a whole bunch of thoughts that I've had about AI, and that it's like they say we have like all these systemic problems about like colonialism and racism and misogyny and fucking the patriarchy and all that. So like these AIs are just mining the internet for what's already there. So the fear of them reinforcing, like you type in beautiful woman, is it going to return a white woman with like that looks like whatever that is, or is it going to be, you know what I mean? And what type of things is it going to be reinforcing and almost galvanizing into our societies now? That's a big concern. We definitely are the seed data for better or for worse. Did you guys see the Microsoft AI that they put out on Twitter? It was a full AI. They released it. It had its own. It was making tweets and interacting, and people started like saying shit to it. And within 24 hours, it turned into like a raging, like Nazi racist, like it was instead to shut it down. It was a huge PR nightmare.
Endorsement for Twitter, man.
No, it's not. I don't. I mean, I feel like Twitter might be the best social media, though. I mean, that's kind of like picking your favorite turd, but it's you know, I don't know. It's an interesting thought experiment there, but you.
Man.
So you mentioned Michael Heiser. I was trying to look him up. You sent me a New
Yeah.
York Times article. So, but that I don't pay for their
Oh, man.
their
I wonder if I
their
can
paywall
find it on-
news.
Yeah,
see. Michael Heiser. What is it? What is the probably giant thing outside of Vegas?
if you
It's called.
just, yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find
Largest
it. It is
modern
insane.
art
Like it's this
piece.
Earthworks.
It's called Earthworks.
The dude basically just the name of it is what do you call it?
Let's see what the internet knows.
Yeah. What did he? He's been working on this space. He bought this area of land in some valley. I think it's like 100 miles north of Vegas, so not close to anything at all. He basically just created this really giant, like multiple football fields space where he created really interesting angles. So it's a little bit of Blade Runner meets like Dune. It's got those sense of like just really interesting, and it changes throughout the day where the shadows. I'm not doing it justice, but it's just a giant. The dude's been working on it for like 50 years, just perfectly shaping these angles, pouring these like perfectly aligned concrete.
I'm trying to find images of it. I'm not
I
having
know.
any
I
luck.
wanna. Let's see. It's just this. They're calling it
Oh.
the biggest piece of modern art ever created by man.
Is this it? This thing here with these big angles and
Okay.
shit? They look like little temples or
that's
something.
part of it. Yeah, it's kind of like a weird kind of. Yeah, it's got this weird temple feel to it. It's
Mythos
he's
and
known for
monumental.
creating just giants. Yeah, just giant.
Oh, killer. Okay, we're gonna plug that into the AI. We're gonna get really weird with it here at the end. I'm gonna try to like bash all this shit into something cohesive.
Yeah, the best take I saw on this was a drone shot that kind of flew over the thing, and it just keeps going and going and going and going.
Wow.
Yeah, his stuff is just. I love because like earthworks are part of humanity, like dating back millennia. I think it's in. There's that serpent mound in I think it's Ohio, where it's this weird just mound that it's shaped perfectly, and they realized only recently that it is intended to align to certain stars at very specific points of the equinox. So it just opened up this whole realm, but it's like 10,000 years old. There's a dude, there's archaeologists who are digging into it and figuring out like there's differing theories, like this was a place for sacrifice, it was a giant calendar. It's some just nuts. That's a fun one
Yeah.
to start with.
That was super cool. Let's see if I can do. I'm gonna take off the creative test part because that only gives you one render, but like it goes real hard when you do that one render. Let's do a 5:4 ratio, and let's say Michael Her. What do you think? Let's put some. So basically, this works best with like a statement. Like what's the and it's all in.
Like in the style of almost, or
Yeah. Basically, you basically have to say like a sentence, and the first things are the most important, and then it kind of goes from there. Sorry. Discord. So Michael Heiser, Earthwork piece. Let's see. Let's say in a magic forest. Let's see what that looks like.
I like that.
Forest.
Forest.
With a babbling brook. Is that how you spell babbling? Let's see.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that like a stream, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what that does. Ooh, it sounds zen. This is just fun, man. I don't know. Like So I told this was like 3 weeks ago, and my creative director Ross, who like is my like ride or die and epic made, you know Ross.
Mhm.
So I brought this up. I was like, Ross, I looked this up. It's so easy to use, bro. You have to check this out, right? So you get like 25 free images. So I sent him this shit on Monday, and on Friday he had maxed out the second level Premiere paid subscription and had over like 7,000 images rendered. He's like, bro, I can't even sleep. Like it's just like hitting all my serotonin levels. Like I just keep going and going and going. He's like, I just gotta keep this so amazing. And I was like, oh my god. But he's been using it to like render scenes for our comic. To like really, especially like backgrounds of cities. He's like, I really have it dialed in to where like it absolutely like gives me exactly what I need for our comic. So you know we have that comic we launched, Supernal,
Yeah.
which is super amazing. If you haven't checked that out yet, but
The bit I saw, I was like, wow, it's really, yeah, no, I love where you're going with it.
yeah, it's been a wild journey. All this crazy shit I've been doing here since I've been look at these, dude. These are sick.
Yeah.
It keeps like it's pulling in all those like solid curvy things, and like look, it's got some water in it. Super cool. So like let's upcycle like that. Number one looks cool. Which one do you like?
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, that one on the upper left is kind of fun. It's got the water in there.
Nice. All right, cool. All right, so Michael Heiser, that one's a good one. All right, so you said Japanese postmodern. So let's see what that is.
You just like shorthand like Blade Runner kind of.
I'm not familiar with this at all. Let's see. Japanese postmodern images. So, Blade Runner. Ooh. Oh, yeah. These are fun.
Yeah, could be some interesting.
Oh, we should definitely pump this into the AI.
It's just got that beautiful like angularity with the I mean just neon, like more neon than your eyes can handle.
Yeah, for sure.
So much. Talk about overstimulation.
Yeah.
That is the stereotypical go-to.
Bro, look at this. What?
I really like that.
That's really wild.
Nice.
It's so realistic. I didn't even tell it to do photorealistic. No.
Seriously.
No, I'm interested. Look, I definitely do a Japanese postmodern. So let's see. Imagine.
Let's do it, man.
So, Japanese. Wow. Let me not butcher how to spell Japanese. Japanese postmodern futuristic cityscape, filled with people with their hair on fire.
Fire thing.
With a Henry experience music. Let's do. Japanese postmodern idiocy render filled with people.
What's it gonna do with that specific of a prompt? Because you've
I don't know.
Broad. Let me melt it.
We're gonna see. With a Genry music project building in the background, we're gonna do let's do hyper realistic. Okay. We're gonna do 32K because that's a lot of Ks. And then we're gonna do AR 5.4. What did I do wrong? Oh, damn it!
Nope.
No, I have to retype all that.
Found.
It's like the end of the world. AR.
doesn't it?
Oh, cool. Perfect. Is it doing it? There we go. Let's see.
Thinking.
Okay. Let's see. I think that's pretty much. So another kind of questions I came up with, like, am I even still on the camera? Yeah. Okay. Good. So how does creativity help you with your work? This one's kind of on the nose, but especially because you work in a creative space. So, but yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of my bread and butter. I have to be. I'm being so. I'll fill in my background with what I've been doing. So I'm primarily coming in, and so my main jam is sort of brand differentiation. So working with everything from the big global mega behemoths all the way to pre-venture or early stage startup. What I've come to realize, brand is brand. So if you tap into sort of those key values of what the brand is all about. So if you and I were sitting down, the first question would be, okay, Carl, what is Epic Made all about? Let's get 3 or 4 words that really describe, even if Epic Made scales to be like the biggest like mega behemoth in the world, what will be true? What will always be true and is inherent to the DNA of what you're all about? Because and generally, if those are positive and contributory to like humanity, especially for startups, that is a good thing. I always tell founders who are like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, no one cares if you go make $1 billion and sell your company, go sail around the Mediterranean in a really big yacht. But if you want to bring some positive goodness to the world, that increases, like that tilts a lot in your favor, especially in the startup ecosystem, which is a lot like, baby sea turtle eggs. Like one of those startups is going to go on to be acquired or become something. If you can tilt things in the favor of making a positive impact on humanity, people will root for you and they'll want you to succeed.
For sure.
Yeah. Have you thought through that for what the thumbprints are that you want to put in the world? Like, what do you consistently see your studio putting out into the ether? Like, have you tapped in and had conversations around that with your team?
Yeah, 100%. Right. So like, I have this like firm belief that like I'm not special in particular in regards to my team, in regards to like I hate this whole like pyramid style structure of corporate America, and I hate like so much of the way that like and by I'm not special I mean like I'm not any more important than all the other gears in the machine that is Epic Made that I've built. Like I just had the predisposition to be the leader. Right? If the other people had the risk tolerance and the relationship building skills and the whatever it is I got, they would do this role. And if I had the ability to just grind and do 40 hours of artwork a week, I might do that. Right? Like, and if I needed a 9 to 5, I might do that. But like, I'm in the space that I'm supposed to be in, and I have found the right people for my organization, and they're in that space with my company. So that's a big part of what we talk about. But also, like, I just don't believe that a corporation of any type should feel like it owns a human being just because it employs them, right? So I empower everyone in my team to, be a voice, be a part of this company, to live their life. Like life comes first and then the work, right? Like you work to live, not live to work. So, like we have unlimited time off. We have unlimited, like I need no justification for why you need a vacation or you need a day off because your animal's sick or your spouse is sick or you need to fucking run an errand that has to be done during the day. Like, go do it. I don't care. Like, I'm in a good position with my company that it isn't about necessarily, like some industries don't operate in this way, right? But like, we set up timelines and deadlines and specifications around a job, and then we go, right? Like, it doesn't really need to happen at this X time. Like, I don't care what time zone you're in or like, what specific, I don't need to hold anyone's hand or like make them be at their desk at a certain time. Like, I treat everyone like an adult. So it's like it's always for artists by artists, right? Like that was the kind of whole, not to rip off FUBU too much, but like I love that consciousness. Like I'm a creative. I started this company all on my own. Like, well, did have a partner, but like it was just me kind of doing all the creative side, and I had a partner that did some coding and stuff back when we did websites. But I say that to say like it's really important to me that like I treat everyone in this organization exactly how I would like to be treated. Like, and that goes all the way up. I don't care if we're a $1 billion company. Like, that's not going to change. Like, I have to have that in the core culture of this, because I feel like, especially in our industry, that's where people are the most creative, where they're the most have the most ingenuity and great ideas, and when they feel comfortable and appreciated and relaxed and not stressed the fuck out and not dominated and possessed and owned and threatened and like, you better get this done, I'm gonna hire somebody else over here to do it for you cheaper. And it's like the whole like capitalism just shoved down the throat of creativity just doesn't work for me. Like you know what I mean? Because it isn't just about the fucking profit margins. Like it's really about like, what are we creating? What's the legacy of this? Like, I'm never gonna sell Epic Made. Like, if Epic Made leaves my ownership, it's gonna be to like either my son or the people that helped me build it. Like I'm not gonna sell out one day. Like, it's just not. That's not who I am. This is a lifestyle thing, right? This is a thing for me to live the life I want to be, to get out of bed happy every morning and make sure that it's also having that effect on everyone else that's a part of it. So
yeah. So what I'm hearing there is just like egalitarianism or equity, balance, which is so key. I know in my life, anytime I've gotten out of balance and tried to continue to do the work, I just hit that wall. It's like, okay, I gotta like sharpen the saw first. I gotta take care of myself before, because you can totally burn out. You can deplete the well. You can just be running on empty. And I'm sure there's some hardcore industries. Maybe there's some weird freaks of nature who can just run it at redline and still be producing. But man, that is not myself and not anyone I know. You have to you got to put it back in and recharge.
Maybe for a short time they can do that, but they're gonna burn out. They're gonna start doing heavy drugs, or their body's gonna start breaking. Something's gonna give where it's gonna be deleterious to them. Is that the right word? I think so. So I want to get some Tom level words in there,
It's so funny. That's actually a good point. So do you, where do you stand on creative enhancement? Like I know an illustrator who, like, his go-to is edibles. Like, he has his jam and he's dialed it in, and he's got his like optimal dosage, and that's just part of his process and approach. I mean, I totally lean on caffeine. Everyone's got their. What's your sense? Like, is it something you weave in or leave aside? Like, it's sort of a thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, so I find it's all a balancing act, right? Like, I've gotten to a space where, like, I mean, I like cannabis myself, but the edibles are usually way too much for me, but I don't really. I think it's like really about introspection, right? Like, it's really like what do you need? What works for you that builds you up and doesn't like have a draw out burnout effect on you, right? So if you need to eat a little edibles or smoke a little cannabis before you do some art that gets you in a good space, awesome. I've heard a lot of people on that space talk about, like, they really have their like most broad creative ideas when they're on something like cannabis or even alcohol, and then they'll do their polishing and refining when they're sober, right? I have no judgment for that. I've done it myself many times. I don't know that I found a consistency in any direction that makes it more or less like, I don't know. Like, I've done that for a while and then felt like, hey, I need to just stop this for a while. Like, this is the first time I've drank on the stream in like a month and a half or two, because I just got sick of drinking every Wednesday. I just felt like it wasn't aiding in my health. So. Yeah.
Similar, yeah. I mean, I think there's no zero sum. Like, you're borrowing from one space to pay to another, so there's no 100%. I guess there's no shortcut. There's never that thing you're going to ingest or substance that's going to tap it without, it always feels like it's borrowing from somewhere else, right? At least for me, you know, it's like you're going to have jacked up sleep. So your next day, you know, you're going to steal from your next day, or just, it's never a net positive. There's always like, you're kind of stealing from somewhere else, which is fine if, you know, you need that for the time, but it always feels like there's always a balancing act, right? The human body is really, really good at finding equilibrium and returning back. And yeah, I don't know. It's just seems like it always comes back to homeostasis. There's your $1 million word.
Homeostasis. That's a great word.
Back to zero. What do we got here?
I don't know. I'm just rendering
nice.
shit. This is kind of cool, huh?
Yeah, I like where that's going.
Yeah, I was trying to think, like, what can I do to tie this all in and, like, make it a piece of art at this phase, too. So, let's see what I can do with that. So, yeah, this was the part of the show that, like, I wasn't quite sure how it would come together, right? Like, I just been kind of randomly typing shit in the whole time, just for entertainment purposes, right? Like, so, let's see. Where are my questions? There we go. Cool.
Like
yeah.
Through most of them.
Yeah, I think we did. We went through all of them. I did have one more I wrote in here, like, how does creativity aid you in being happy? Again, I probably can help. You could probably help me word these questions a little better, but
me and being happy.
Like, do you find that, like, doing creative things successfully or even unsuccessfully, like, how does that affect your happiness? Like, do you need creativity to be happy? I have a theory about that.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. Creativity has made me a more complete person, because fundamentally creativity requires openness. Like, you don't meet a lot of creative people who aren't open to, I feel like there's some slider that for creatives is like open all the way to like openness to experience and openness to new experience.
Yeah.
For creatives, always feels like it's very like cranked up to 11. Like, it's very open, like willingness to do new things, willingness to chat with people who are maybe like outside of what, you know, the typical people we come across more than anything. And it's funny, I'm definitely like, I tend toward the introvert side. Like, I can put on the extrovert, but being able to go out and just gather and just have conversations like this, where I'm, you know, chatting with people who are completely outside of my discipline, my frame of reference. That's what creativity's given me the most in my life. And I think that leads toward greater perspective. And I think greater perspective is what brings you to, you know, happiness. Like, happiness is such a weird, nebulous thing to chase. It brings it toward, I think, perspective. I think perspective and just balance combined sort of lead to happiness. So
sure,
in the dodgy way of answering the question, yeah. How about you? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think human beings by nature are creative, right? Like, have you ever met a child under 4 or 5 that didn't like art, that didn't like to make things or draw something or decorate some shit, even if it's just making a mess? Like, they want to have their influence on the space and things around them. And I think that, you know, a lot of, you know, I've never seen any studies on this, and I'm sure there's data out there. I don't know which way it'll lean on my hypothesis, but I think the actual lack of a creative expression in someone's life could absolutely lead to depression and or taking away from their happiness just in general. That you have to feel like you're creating something. I don't care if that's you feel like you're molding your children every day, or you're decorating this home to make it a beautiful space, or you're actually in a creative art field, or you're creating a business or designing something. But like human beings are manifestors. Like, that's how all this shit got here. Like, all of it. Like, you know, we've been like manifesting and creating everything on this planet for hundreds of thousands, maybe. I don't know. Who knows what that number looks like, but a long time.
Yeah, I feel like stereotypically, whenever you come across anyone, and maybe this is like the Hollywood trope, but you fundamentally see someone who is unhappy or stifled or struggling, like the path out of that leads toward an endeavor of creation, like a space where they make something or give something back. They practice their art. Yeah, like there's something to be done for something to be said for, giving whatever that gift is that you uniquely are supposed to give to the world, like
Ooh.
embracing that and not holding it to yourself, but being, taking the risk, because creativity is fundamentally risky.
Yeah.
To put it out there in the world and risk rejection, risk people disregard it, risk like no one giving, it not catching anyone's attention, and just being okay with that. Creating for yourself. Yeah, it can be powerful.
That's the biggest inhibitor to creativity, is like fear of condemnation and judgment, that like you made something and nobody thinks it's great, or worse, they think you're something negative for making that, that's a terrible space. And I think that's come apart in some of this, like, so that's come like to a head, I think, in some of this social media culture where there's no repercussions for people to act like a complete shitbag on the internet. Just get behind their keyboard and dump venom and spew hatred and criticism on people they don't even know without any real repercussions. At least in like real life, somebody would smack the taste out of your mouth. Not advocating for that, but like there is something to be said about that. Like, there's a time in our own country not too long ago where if you disrespected somebody on a level that you felt was worthy of a duel, you could challenge someone to walk out in the street and shoot each other with a pistol. What the fuck? Like,
yeah.
That was legal. It was legal. Like, it's like, you have thus disrespected me, so you will apologize, or we're gonna walk out in the road and shoot each other. Like, what? Anyways, sorry, I digress. Not that was better, but it's interesting. Just the complete 180 culture shift we have, where like zero repercussions for saying whatever the fuck you want to another human being, versus like, hey, somebody can legally challenge you to a duel to the death for being a certain level of disrespectful, which is just fascinating. And maybe I'm historically off on that a little bit, but I feel like I'm it's not that far off. I mean you're more into history than I am, but that is my understanding of how a duel works.
And there's so much now, and so much in art is sort of a remix of a remix of a remix. So the value that lies in almost coming back to sort of like source material, or first. I feel like I was reading. I follow this blog. This guy was writing earlier this week about how when culture becomes a copy of a copy of a copy, it loses something.
Yeah.
And there's the self-reference, and the value in kind of coming back to whether it's the original works of art or literature, but just knowing the roots and tapping into them. Not to say that AI building off of all the collective unconscious of humanity. I mean, there's beautiful value in that, but there's also going back and seeing that which inspired the whole thing.
Yeah, well, I'm right. Like, to your point of what you were just talking about, it's a copy of a copy. It's literally like, sorry, let me see. Like, this is a copy of a copy, so it loses all of its context. Like, this is so far removed from like the actual initial
source material.
Yeah, and it's just like a almost haphazard like jamming of a bunch of shit together, which is chaos, which is like the like foundation of creation in some regards, or maybe the wildest version of creation, but still like I don't know, it's like it's just a pure wild card, right? Like, you lose context entirely, which is important.
And maybe that's the human element. Maybe that's what the human ingredient brings to it, is just sort of that. It's like, it's so funny. Like, it started out the machines were the filter, and it almost like flips back around where humans perform that weird, unique filtering function.
Oh, yeah.
That no machine can ever do. It's like, I mean, this can go out and source and scan billions of images, but fundamentally, it doesn't have the selective neurons that you have as a professionally, trained, experienced artists. There's you can't train an aesthetic, like a human aesthetic eye just emerges from a lifetime of experiences, right?
Sure. But then the question is, like, can machine learning, through interpreting good images, right? So the filter, right? The filter then becomes the problem, right? And I've seen a lot of talk about this in the AI space. There was a point where they were like, oh, well, we're going to filter in only good reference material. But it's like that in itself becomes problematic because it's only through whatever those humans are that are filtering it. And then they also said, like, hey, look, just the mass aggregate then kind of tells it what's best. And then is it evaluating images based on, like, popularity on Google or whatever it's using, right? Like, is it saying, well, these first page items, these are more visually valuable to the algorithm than the ones on the 20th page, even if you know what I mean? Like, it's I don't know.
Yeah.
Quite fascinating material here. I don't know. So we have all these images here. Let's see if we can come up with a cool prompt to punch in here. And I know you probably got to get going. We're trying to keep this down to an hour. I will do these for like 2 or 3 hours sometimes. So I might even stay on and just like make a piece of art from all these renders. You do not have to stay for that. So feel free. I'll probably take an intermission at whichever point you need to dip off. But let's put together something. Let's come up with a prompt and see what it comes up with, and then we'll see what that does. That'll be how we wrap it out here. So.
All right, I love it. I'm just gonna freestyle here. Let's say I need some. I think in text, so I gotta put fingers to keyboard and rough something out. What if?
Okay.
All right. Let's do. You'll have to. The prompt structure better than me.
Yeah, I'll reconfigure it, but let's.
Let's see. Okay, here we go. So retool this as you see fit, but this is just my mind dump. This feels like what wants to be created right now. I put it in there.
I love it. I love it.
Let's see what that makes.
Okay, let's see. Imagine there are endless possibilities. All right. So. What's it doing? Imagine. There we go. Boom. So Easter Island Psychedelic Burning Medical Fan Festival Apex Predator. So all right. So let's digest this a bit. You want an apex predator that is from Easter Island at a psychedelic Burning Man festival?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
As seen if I was at Burning Man.
Okay. Photorealistic.
Okay.
Let's say Apex Predator.
Will it take like watercolor or?
Oh yeah. We can do that. So
we'll push the boundaries here because
okay.
We do abstract. I feel like we've done the photorealistic. So
watercolor Apex Predator. Let's see. From a psychedelic Burning Man festival on Easter Island.
Love it.
All right, let's see on Easter Island. Let's do 32K. This gives it more pixel rendering. Tac AR. And then we'll do 16 by 9. Do a nice landscape piece. See what happens.
All right.
Rolling the dice.
Yeah, came back surprisingly. So it's working on it. What's the average turnaround for? Oh, it's pretty quick.
Yeah, it's quick. So it's 12% in. Bro, it's already looking fucking cool.
This is gonna be it.
Oh, cool. So what I can do, Tom, is let's get this to a space where we like, and then I'll probably spend the next hour drawing on top of this, making it real cool. You don't have to stay for that, and then I'll send it to you tomorrow. and I'll
it.
post it. We'll make it into a piece of art, and we'll call this will be our collaboration.
I love it, man.
Holy
we have
shit.
collaborated. Oh, good stuff, man. I love seeing what you're up to. This is so good because it's outside the realm of what I typically play in. So that's why I get a lot of juice out of seeing stuff like this. So selfishly, ooh, look at that. That is.
I'm even more impressed with the AR writing. So the AR writing. AI. It's go to neuro-flash.com tomorrow. Whenever you get a chance, you're gonna want to play with that. It's gonna do the same kind of thing for you, right? Like it's gonna give you some really great bones to work from. I mean, some of the articles were so good that like I could not believe it. It was quite wild. Wow, look at some of these, man. These are cool.
I'm liking it, man. Yeah,
so these are like Easter Island heads. What do you think about this fourth one here? Let's upscale that one, see what it does. All right,
that's got some really fun effects to it. The watercolor, the watercolor effect is solid.
It was a cool head trip for sure. I love it. Yeah. And just for fun, we're gonna do another quick render on a vertical. Just to see what it comes up with. So we're going to do a 4, 5. So what did I hit? I hit variations on 4 instead of upscale. That's okay. Wow. Yeah, look at this one, dude. Wow.
Ooh, I love it.
It's not even done yet. Is it done? Oh, it is done. Okay, cool. Let's upscale version 4. All right, cool. We're gonna wait on this next one, then I'll let you go. How you doing on time? You all right?
I'm good. Yeah. We'll put another 10 minutes, and the kids will be home and put my kids to bed.
Yeah, don't miss that. That's important.
Yeah.
What did I tell you the first time? Like 3 hours. When you committed, I was like, yeah, like 3 hours. You're like, Don't mind me, dude.
I wanted to practice, man. I had to dust off my my Twitch handle, so we'll have to. Yeah, I want to see other. I feel like I've just warmed it up. I mean, this is barely getting it started, so we scratched the surface. You're gonna have people on here way more verbose and engaging than I.
Oh man, you were fantastic. What are you talking about, Tom? You the man. Yeah, we got to do some work together. Some more work. I definitely would love to talk to you more about helping with Epic Made. Oh my God, look at this one here.
Ooh,
what the fuck is that? That kind of has like some of the vibes of that guy you were talking about.
Yeah. No,
let's
cool.
upscale version 3 there.
Yeah.
That's super sick.
Look at that.
This is wild looking, dude. Oh, wow.
Something else.
I'm super jazzed that you said put in watercolor because like I have this disposition to like lean into photorealistic all the time. Oh my God.
Go to an abstract place, my friend.
Yeah, I mean you've seen my dad's work, right? Like it's all crazy abstract. Like, can you see any like all the faces on the back wall there?
It is in your DNA.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. I love this. I'm gonna play with. All right, which one of these do you want me to mess with some more?
Yeah, the one.
This one or this one?
Yeah, that top one. That's
this one.
It's got something really there's something there to it.
Yeah. So I think I'll snatch out some of these people from the crowd and like throw them in here and maybe like fill in the gap. Wow, this like is so fucking good. Oh my God.
It's great, man.
Wow.
That's going on my wall.
Yeah, dope. All right, well, I'll finish it up in a little while. I'll do it tonight, right now. If anybody's still on, wants me to see me finish it up, let's see. We still got 4 people watching, so dope. All right, and if you didn't subscribe to the channel with your Twitch login, please do. I would appreciate that. So cool. All right, man. I'm gonna play with this one. We're gonna upscale that to max. I might even do a light. I'm gonna do some. I'm just gonna throw all the variations, see what the hell happens.
Why not, man? Throw the spaghetti.
Hit all the buttons.
Push all the buttons.
Cool. All right, Tom. Well, Next time you hear from me, I'm gonna send you what I turned this into. I've got some ideas already. Thank you so much, man. It's been such a blessing.
Yeah.
It was super
Thanks
fun.
for letting me in the studio. I appreciate it, and as always, I feel like I come away from all of our conversations just mind blown and open, and yeah, good work. Keep doing what you do, man. I
Oh, thanks,
appreciate
Tom.
you, and yeah, I'm glad we had a chance to throw down together, and thanks to everyone who listened to us jabber back and forth.
Yeah, Tom. And man, I feel the same way about you, bro. I really appreciate you. You're an amazing human being. I love what you're doing with Epigraph. And every time I talk to you, I learn something. I get inspired by some other ideas. Like, it's interesting how similar we are, but how different of experiences that we have, you know? So it's always a value add chatting with you, man. So thanks again. And you were the official first guest for The Love of Creativity by ColorfulCarl on Cleanthus Studios. I don't know. We got to figure all that out. But thanks so much, Tom. Have a good night, guys. I'm going to run over. I'm going to hit intermission for a bit, let Tom go. And I'm going to work on this piece of art for the next couple hours. Cool, Tom. Good night, brother.
Peace. Thanks,
Peace. All right, friends, y'all still here? I guess we'll just leave that little slice of the. That could just be a little screen there. I'm gonna take a quick bathroom break, and I'll be right back. Anybody still here? You guys in the chat at all? No? Yes? Maybe? I'm gonna clean up some of these pieces of art while they're rendering while I'm going. Dude, this is so fucking cool. Oh, what a cool idea. Okay. Oh, shit. Oh, wow. Which one was this? Test. That one is fucking fire. Okay, cool. All right, I'll be right back. Give me 5, friends. Like mute my mic and shit, I think. I'm gonna try to. Be right back. Excuse me. All right, I'm back. I definitely didn't set that scene up. Oops, let's go with this scene because it doesn't look like a hot dumpster fire. All right, so definitely want the chat box. Let's do what I want to drop off the Google Meets folder. Yeah, that'll work. Cool. Well, that was super fun. I think I am going to get crazy on this now. So I'm going to move this off here. Start pulling some renders. Oh my god. Fuck yes. Okay. Holy shit. So let's, okay. Upscale that one more time. I love this. Let's do upscale beta. Just talking to myself, don't mind me. I'm only a crazy person. Let's Alright, so I've got some great images. I'm getting ready to pull them all up for you all, friends. Don't like that. That one is fucking nuts. Dude, look at this one. This one is killer. Oh my god. So cool. What are you doing, thing? There we go. I'm gonna upscale that some more. Look at the cool people in the front. It's like wild. Oh my god. AI art is my friend. Okay. Save images. Almost there. Upscale to max. Alright, I'm gonna pull in this piece as the base because I freaking love it. It's amazing. I don't need that. Alright, so this is gonna be the basis. Blam. Nice. Alright. Anybody still here? You got any friends still here? All right. Hey, friend. Hey, Ivy. Game Raider Girl. I always say your name is Gamer Raider Girl, which this doesn't make sense because you even, you know, showed, you even capitalized it in such a way that, like, should tell me how to say it properly. But alas, I just fuck it up. So, all is well. So, I'm going to do a couple of the renders here. This is going to be so sick. Let's see. I feel like this tool is particularly powerful for little abstract pieces of art, for sure. Let's see. I'm gonna run another Imagine really fast. Watercolor Easter Island head at a psychedelic Burning Man festival. So I'm trying to get some renders because I'd love to put some Easter Island heads around the outside of that. It might be fun just to grab a render, but I'm going to try this Easter Island head. They actually have bodies too. Did anybody know that? They're the Easter Island heads. They dug them down and found out they have entire bodies. They're like these monstrous, ridiculous things, which is pretty cool. So, this is so much fun. Getting some cool renders. Check these out. So I'm just looking for Easter Island. So what I'm going to do here is... oh my god, these are fucking sick. I'm going to drop a bunch of these in. I'm going to play up the Apex Predator. Play up that crowd in the front. It's going to be fire. Because I like the Apex Predator. Ooh, let's do stock.adobe.com. We're doing some Adobe stock. Oh, these are sick. So I'm going to license these. One moment, friends. Good night, Zach. Good seeing you, brother. Thanks for dropping in, and so appreciate the subscription. Thank you so much, man. I owe you a custom piece of art. Let me do something for you, just for that subscription. You owe me nothing else. Alright, so I got some wings. Put that there. Gonna do so I'm selecting the image, gonna modify, expand, we're gonna do 5 pixels. I'm gonna grab the background layer, which you guys can see a little better now because I have the stream a little better layout. So I'm gonna hit Control J. It's gonna make a copy just of that selection. So I see how it makes that go away. Super cool, right? So then what I'm gonna do is make a little mask, pull out a pen. Oh yeah, see, like there's no replacement for I just got instantly excited about actually doing this art. And the AI had got me to this point, but I still want to do the art, so I'm about to do it. And it allowed me to skip a lot of shit, which is fascinating. Very fascinating. So I'm using the selection tool here to pick up just the pixels of this creature to make a mask. On this layer here, right? So that's the wand tool right here, this specific one, the quick selection tool. All right, so then I get on here, I'm gonna actually trash that. So we're gonna say delete, and then we're gonna select it with that. So boom, masked it out. Didn't realize how far down the wings went, so I'm actually going to do the opposite down here and just get rid of all of this because I don't need it. Boom. Oh, I don't even know what fucking brush I'm using. I'm using some crazy shit. It looks a little more apex predatory. We're gonna rasterize a layer, and I'm gonna, I think, overlay it. Yeah. Or multiply. Oh, how are we doing on these Easter Island heads? I want to do variations of 2. I want to upscale. I want to light upscale 4. Oh my god, this is so fucking gnarly. I'm gonna drop these in. Oh, they're gonna be fucking sick. I'm so excited about this right now. Alright, so J. So I'm rasterizing the layer, and I'm gonna break these all apart into their own layers. And then move them around in the background. So I am selecting them with the direct selection tool. Then I'm hitting Control Shift J, which makes a new layer via cut. So now they're all on their own layer. But just so you know, you can also go up to, let's see, layers, and then new layer via cut or copy. So, oh, this is gonna be sick. edit them all at the same time, though, for time's sake. Alright, so we're going to do this. We're going to make them smaller, because I want to put them across the front of this, like, stage, like, doosh, 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 right? Like, that'll be like a stage. But I want them to fit in more color-wise. They're a little bright, so I'm going to move these midtones into the darker aspect a bit. That looks pretty good. And then I'm just going to cut them out. So if you're tuning in at this point, like, I'm experimenting with AI. I just had a long chat with my buddy Tom Briggs, just about what inspires him creatively. And we came up with a bunch of cool prompts. And he left me with this one, Apex Predator at a Burning Man festival on Easter Island, which is super fun. So now we're making that a thing here. And he liked the watercolor theme, so here we are, just sort of making this into a thing. It's gonna be so cool. I'm so excited about this. So we got that, and let's go ahead and we can merge all these into one layer again now that they're positioned where we want them, and then we'll just start like masking them out. So when you create a mask, if you don't know, you just do a little mask layer, select the layer. If you're drawing here, you're drawing on the art. If you're drawing here, you're drawing on the mask. And you know you're on the mask because you can only do black and white on the mask. So I'm going to do select subjects. Okay, did pretty good. We'll start with that. Inverse the selection, and that's just gonna let me knock all that out real quick. Notice some of it worked better than others. Dude, this is already fucking fire. This is what I'm talking about. People are like upset about AI. Like, what? This is cool. Like, I can make really sick art really fast. I mean, it doesn't replace what I can do. There's like a level of control that, you know, I like to have, but it's really wild. Like, this is so wild. But abstract art, like, I just don't see how this, like, doesn't start to dominate abstract art. I don't know. So I'm going to make these kind of look like they're part of this. Here in a bit. Do some texture matching. Should be pretty fun. Probably blur these a bit too. Yeah, this is looking wild already. So excited about this. I'm just getting rid of some of this background. Just kidding. So just this area where it overlaps here, I wanted to just compositionally create a little more space here. So I'm going to select that with the lasso tool, which you can just press L, or you can click up here. I'm going to hit Shift F5. That does content aware. So I'm on this layer here. So it's going to pull in the pixel data from around there. To basically try to attempt to make a gap here. So that didn't work as well as I'd like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to force it with just something like this through here, deselect that, and then I'll blend it with this tool. Yeah, it's working pretty good. Clone stamping now with the S, so press S or click over there, this little guy, and you can reference the pixels you want to transplant by holding Alt and clicking, and then it moves those things, and it moves like in unison with you. So cool thing you can do here is like I'll blend a little, so doing that. It's looking kind of shitty, but I'll fix that up. Let's lasso this area. And then we're going to do Shift F5. I'm going to try, yeah, content aware is fine. Yeah, it looks a little better. So throw this hand back up there. And then we're going to lasso that, Shift F5 that. That's looking good. I'm on the hand layer. Erase around it. Doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to work. Okay. Merge that down. Let's clone stamp this over some. Using that healing brush tool, J. Have it set on proximity match. I could do content aware, see how that works. Nah, I like proximity match. I'll play with that some more, but don't need to get caught in the weeds of it. Get over here on this little head over here. So let's do the magnetic lasso. What? Where's the magnetic lasso? You know, you're getting old when they just removing tools you're used to. There it is. So magnetic lasso is cool because it like follows. All you have to do is sort of draw on the edge, and it interprets the pixel contrast and then does it for you. Boom. Dude, what are you doing? Fuck you. Wow. Dumpster fire. Oh my god. What is going on? This is not working out for me. The magnetic lasso tool has gone awry. I don't know how to get it to stop. Majorly problematic. Let's do this. Okay. We're just going to go with the regular old lasso tool. That one got a mind of its own. So this is just selecting the pixels I want to get rid of and the ones I want to add into the selection. Might as well do it over here at the same time. Was on the layer, not the mask. Looks good. Let's go ahead and apply the mask. I want to select the faces. I'm gonna J. So I want to see what happens. What do we have back there? So let's do Shift F5. No. Cool. Current and below. I want to do like just a overlay. Let's see how that looks. So I'm clone stamping data from another layer on top of this to just make it blend a little better, but I don't know if it's gonna work. I think that this is gonna work better like this. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely going to work better. Just kind of making this blend. So I'm clone stamping data from around this to make it not such an abrupt change. Like these can look painted on there, unique in some way, but they don't need to look like they're totally separate assets from a totally different machine rendered AI, you know? We're gonna make that all work good. This is coming out really awesome. Already super jazzed on it. What up, dude? Welcome. Oh, what up, Derek? Sorry you got booted. Welcome, Propagation. Good to see you as always, friend. We are making a Apex Predator at Burning Man on Easter Island. Based on a fun conversation I had with my buddy earlier, Tom Briggs, who's a wonderful creative entrepreneur himself. And this is the prompt we did. All these are AI-generated assets from MidJourney. And it's all coming together pretty well, I feel like. Super excited about it, so. Just trying to make this look a little better right here. You like my new layout propagation? I'll step the fanciness up a little bit. How about you, Derek? What do you think about the fanciness of this new stream themed layout thing? I feel like it looks way cooler. And if you're watching on like a big screen, you could probably see it much better too. Alright, so I wanted to get more into these apex predator renders. So let's try this. Watercolor Easter. Okay, let's try this. Imagine watercolor apex predator with horns and fangs at a psychedelic Burning Man festival. Yo, we're having so much fun with these props. It's quite silly. Hey, when you guys jumped in the stream, did you have to watch an ad? Am I doing ad revenue? Did I turn that on? I'm fascinated by this. Holy shit. Look at these renders. Oh my god. Holy shit. These are so fucking sick. I can't. Okay. Let's go. Nah, I don't like that. Vivid light's cool though. Oh my god. This is fucking sick. So I'm just made this face on the old MidJourney. God, it's cool. Holy shit, that's cool. Oh, some of these are even cooler though. Oh, look at the freaking crazy body on this. What in the world? Oh, I don't know. I kind of like this whole other head better. Well, still figuring all this stuff out, but man, it's coming together. I think I like this. I'm not sure how I feel about that one. We'll see in a second. This is wild. What a cool prompt. So like that was cool, like the whole collaboration with Tom is that like, you know, I wouldn't have come up with this without Tom. Like, this was Tom's idea. I'm just using AI to help bring it to life. So this in itself is its own kind of fun little experiment in that level. I'm just using select subject, select sky, just to see what it grabs. That looks pretty good to me. Going to add some bits into that. Gonna remove some bits from this. Quite interesting here. I don't know that I want any of this up here, although it is kind of cool. This is fucking crazy looking. What in the world? You. Oh. Oh. Just playing with the levels here. Control L will get you on the level screen. I just feel like we need some like major teeth here though, you know. The problem is gonna be like making all these styles work together when I'm done. That's alright. I'll figure that out at the end. You know, clone stamping and taking a line off might be cool. Right, so I can just paint with the texture and color from that space. I can only really get away with this because it's so abstract, but I think this is gonna work. Yeah, it's working. Just kind of doing little stipplings. Oh, this is gonna work much better for the teeth. Alright, so I'm doing back on my brush tool. I'm gonna do the knock the opacity way back. I wanna like actually let some of this atmosphere through. I don't like the way this brush is working. Let's turn the flow up. Yeah. I just wanted to kind of blend out nice. This brush looks just like shit. Let's do a chunky kind of textury brush. There we go. Like I want this kind of emanating fuzziness with some texture from all around the head. Like the head itself has this energy coming off of it, you know? So what I'm doing is just painting back in some of the stuff I masked out earlier. Wow, it looks really gnarly. I actually almost like it without that. Oh, I had the wrong consciousness there. There we go. Yeah, I think this creature is going to be just a cooler body. I think we're going to end up losing the whole body from the original, which is fine. It's more custom anyways. Alright, so let's do this. Taupe. It's always great when Photoshop just like gets it. So like one of the things that I've always been most comfortable with is photo bashing. So that's like the quintessential part of what I'm doing here is like smashing a bunch of images together, making them look cohesive, like they belong together. And so like AI is like really gonna be powerful for me, especially the better and better I get at it. So like here we are with this fucking wild piece that I wouldn't have been able to do. I don't even know that I could have conceived this like on my own, right? So like, but here we are. Like I've made this ridiculously amazing piece, with an effort level that's like so much less than it ever what could have been in any other way, which is just remarkable to even think about. But it's beautiful and it's still mine. Like I made this, right? Like, you know, and again, like Tom's inspiration was huge, and like him giving me the prompt to work from. So I can't wait to show this to him. He's gonna flip. I love this like weird abstraction of a creature here. So let's do this. Let's get my little wandy tool and just select all of this business. Let's get on the proper layer first. Alright, so that is perfect. So then I come up to this guy, turn it on, I create a little masky mask, and then I come back. That is what I wanted to do. So now I'm just painting over all the spots that I wanted to mask out. So I'm just holding Alt, and if you click on the eyeball, it turns just that layer on. Super useful tool. I'm going to now try just to select this figure. and I'm using that cool little, it's like a magic selection tool. What's it called? It is the quick selection tool. Finds the edges of something for you, which is probably why they got rid of the magnetic lasso. Because this does it way more effectively. And then I'm gonna add that bit on there, subtract that bit. Okay. So got that little figure there. I love all these people, like it so works as people. And then we got the little headdress jammy. I don't know, this guy might be a little too light upscale redo. Let me try 2 variations on this guy. I really like where it's going, but I think it's still just a little too muddy, if you will. Holy bananas. Wow, yeah, I'm getting way better versions of this guy. I'm not gonna waste any more time. I'll keep that mask though. How's everybody enjoying this? Anybody is this coming together pretty cool? I'm gonna try to be done in the next 20 minutes. So I can go to bed at a reasonable hour. Get back to working tomorrow. That actually is kind of cool. God, some of this stuff's just so wild looking. I love it. I think I rendered some crazy cosmic stars and shit. Before, let me have a look, see. AI renders. Yeah. That would look pretty cool back there. I'll pull this in. Scale it up. I rendered these earlier. Cool. Just adding a little visual interest back there, you know. I'm gonna blur the mask a little bit too, so it's not so abrupt. I think like 3 pixels would be fine. And then I think like vivid light. Let's see what that does. Soft light, hard light, vivid light. Hard light's good. Overlay actually looks great. I think we're getting close, friends. Anybody else into this? Yeah, I feel like all these other ones are a little. I've got other like renders that are interesting, but I just don't know if they're better or not. I feel like this looks pretty neat. I don't want to overplay it. It looks pretty pretty savage as it is. So there was some pixel problems over there, so I just, nope, I'm selecting the edge of it, doing that, hit Shift F5, it's going to render just those pixels in there, so the little details right there. Let's see, yeah. Cool. Alright, just didn't have all the pixels on the page there. I don't like this little haziness around here, so I'm going to I'm going to get in here and clean that up. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to hit select, modify, contract. We're going to do 5 pixels. Ooh, so that went the wrong way. Select, modify, expand 5 pixels. Then we're going to select, modify, no, go away. Select, modify, feather, 2 pixels. Alright, and now I'm going to delete the mask. And reapply it. Man, I think this is cool as shit. Holy crap. So here's some variations that I made. I just wonder, like, what would some of this look like? I may be chasing something stupid here, but we'll see shortly, won't we? If this adds any visual interest, really. Like, that's pretty much what it boils down to. Does it make the piece look more interesting? To have this sort of ornate dress looking thing. Thing's gonna get the wooks all hyped up. I follow an Instagram page called like the Festivalist or something, I think. It is hilarious. Some good shit on there. For sure. Yeah, I don't know if it's doing too much. Yeah, I don't know. I think it does something. I don't know what, but it's something. I hate it when it does that. I feel like we need a moon in here or something compositionally. It's missing a little something. Maybe we can put one of my dad's crazy faces in here. Let's see. Let's go in the art bank. No. My dad drew this face that I just dropped in here. His last Christmas before he died. It's really painful and sorrowful. He loved it though. Like he loved the expression of the piece, but I have it on the wall. It's just painful to look at. I don't know if this is the one for this. I'm going to put a psychedelic moon and stars in here. Let's go up to the first prompt. I gotta go to bed. Why am I still awake? So I'm going to do watercolor, psychedelic, watercolor, moon and stars at a psychedelic Burning Man festival. Let's get something thrown up in the background. I feel like we'll be there. This is crazy. Yeah, it's coming up with something. It's going to be sweet. Oh, this one's the one for the face in the background. It's like a god face or something. It's one of my dad's face paintings. It's in the Faces of a Mad Artist collection. You can buy the NFT and get the original work of art. There's a link on clean.studio. This one's pretty wild. You can also buy a print on our Redbubble site. Also a link on clean.studio for that. Check it out. Holy crap-a-moly. These look really dope. Actually, I think this is going to work just like this. Let's move this face up some. This piece is wild looking. Yeah, I don't even think I want this moon. It's cool though. All right. Let's group it. Let's make it into, let's back it up. Back up. I'm gonna merge this. Gonna play with all the contrast. This has been so cool. So I got a stock image of some wings. I got 5 or 6 crazy renders from whatever the fuck this thing, MidJourney. A couple other AIs we have. I could probably try those out in the future. But I think we came up with something super dope here. I'm sure Tom's going to love it. So I wanted to just do a little bit of touch-up work. Tone that strength down a bit. Let's do this. Let's go in and grab these wings. Where are the wings? Export contents, no. I think this is a smart layer, right? Yeah. Trying to work non-destructively. That's what Ross told me to do. Where are the layers? Boom. Okay, we're gonna do figure. And then we'll do that. Okay. Cool. This is just in the backup layer. And then we're gonna select, modify, border. We're gonna do 5 pixels. Nope, it needs to be bigger than that. We're gonna do select, modify, border. We're gonna do 25 pixels. Boom. Alright, and then I'm going to lasso and remove all of this business. Right, because I don't need that. And I don't need any of this. Cool. So we're gonna shift F5. Let's see what that looks like. Shift F5 did nothing. Okay. So let's select, modify, contract 5 pixels, see how that looks. We'll do filter, Gaussian blur, maybe that was too much, so filter, blur, Gaussian blur, we'll do 1.5 pixels. Worse. Damn it. You know what? I almost don't even care. Let's see what happens when I do this. Good, looks good. We're gonna just do that. And good's relative. This is all. So I'm just using this like proximity match paintbrush tool. I just hate this white band. It was just from an error in how I rendered. I was moving too fast. I'd rather it look a little, because it's just a crazy piece, I'd rather it look a little more like this. Yeah. See, this looks better. What you don't want is like something to look unintentional and very out of place. Like these white halos look out of place to me. It's probably just because I know how I made this. And it sort of is what it is, but I'd rather the wings look a little distorted and a little strange around the edges than have these strange white halos. Don't like that at all. So I switched it from texture from proximity match to content aware. I think it's just going a little nicer. Sure, there's a faster way to do this, but sometimes you just gotta do it whatever way works. You don't want to disrupt the flow too much. The creative flow is important. So J is the hotkey for this once again. Hotkeys are great. Like once you learn a bunch of hotkeys, it like really speeds up your workflow. Oh man. Yeah, I'm not mad about this piece at all. It look cool, man. It's cool. I wonder where these guys all look good. Everything looks good. Fuck it. Yo, this is wild. Cool. Let's just sign it and call it. Fuck it. Oh, what is that trash? This little white line here. It's from where I did that content aware piece. Of course, I did it on the wrong layer. No, it's too big. Needed to cover that line. So I click there, and then I hold shift and click up here, and it makes a perfectly straight line to cover that straight line. And we got it. Oh, this is from where I seamed an extra bit on to the 5:4 aspect ratio. It looks like it's worked out just fine now. I could do a filter noise. What's despeckle do? That's fine. So let's filter. Let's do noise. Let's add some noise. Maybe not that much noise. Look how much noise you can add. You can get crazy. But this just gives a nice cohesion, especially like on these faces. See, they just needed a little something to kind of tie in with everything else a little better. So I think I'm pretty happy with this. Yeah, I'm really happy with this. So much fun. Alright, so we use MidJourney to make some cool art. And got to collaborate with my buddy Tom, pick his brain, show him a new thing. He's probably still got his gears turning about all the coolness that was that, if I know Tom. And appreciate everyone coming out tonight. We got 2 subscribers. Holy shit, in one night. Shout out to Lanny. Last week she gave us our first tip, which I didn't even notice. So thanks for that. And yeah, wrapping it up. Let me sign this piece. Get my ass to bed. Nope. Let's see here. Tweak that a little bit. What is the date on the today? Is the 9/29/22. Hey, make some art. It's all done. That's it. That was fun. Thank you guys. I will be seeing ya next week.